Now in the middle of one of the most significant eras in automotive, Carl Anthony amplifies the minds and voices behind this historic transformation as the host of AutoVision News Radio.
Mic check 1 2.
All while coming to terms with middle age, father loss, and what it means to be successful in Detroit.
It was Mrs. Renner, my 5th grade teacher, who had a poster on the wall that read, "When are we ever gonna have to use this?" The poster was divided into 5 sections, each corresponding to an area of mathematics, starting with pre-algebra, followed by first-year algebra, geometry, trigonometry, and other topics, which included calculus, computer programming, mathematical modeling, and the use of scientific calculators. Along the top was a list of professions in alphabetical order, starting with accounting and ending with X-ray technician. A black filled-in dot was then placed to signify which profession required which mathematical discipline. For example, a mechanical engineer is expected to know metric measurement, basic probability and statistics, polynomials, area, volume, functions, trig identities, and mathematical communication. Professional golfers need to know angle measurement and how to make and use 3D drawings. Disc jockeys, my chosen profession for many years before the automotive industry, we had to know mental math, according to the poster, which in radio is like, it's 37 past the hour, 23 minutes to 8 o'clock, traffic on the 5s, markets on the 6s, weather on the 8s, golden oldies in the afternoon. At 30, though, that's 30 minutes halfway through the hour, polka time. No kidding. There is a polka time, small town AM radio. If you've ever listened, there's such a thing. But the idea behind the "when are we ever gonna have to use this" poster was to encourage you to think beyond your schooling. We could apply the same thing today with fireside chats, panel discussions, webinars, and conferences. At some point, we have to put the material into practice in the real world. However, to do that, we need to move beyond the buzzwords and jargon and establish a clear, working definition of the concept. For example, when we say AI at the intelligent edge, it sounds cool, futuristic, but when are we ever going to have to use it? And in what setting can we use it? And why would we want to in the first place? Javed Khan is the Executive Vice President of Software and Advanced Safety and User Experience at Aptiv. In this role, he is responsible for leading the Advanced Safety and User Experience Business Unit, the global product organization, and Wind River. Javed is renowned for his ability to develop scalable software platforms and drive innovation and collaboration. Likewise, he is a recognized speaker on key topics including the future of mobility, business transformation, sustainability, and technology architectures. Before joining Aptiv, Javed served as Senior Vice President and General Manager of Cisco Collaboration, overseeing the multi-billion-dollar business that included the award-winning WebEx product portfolio. He holds a Master's in Computer Science from Loyola University and an MBA from the Anderson School of Management at UCLA. I mentioned Wind River a second ago, and Javed will too. Here is some of the backstory on Aptiv and Wind River. In a press release dated December 23, 2022, Aptiv announced its completed acquisition of Wind River. Quoting from that press release, Wind River's proven technologies have been used across multiple industries to address the challenges the automotive industry is facing. By integrating the Wind River Studio cloud-native software platform into Aptiv's industry-leading smart vehicle architecture, Aptiv will enable customers to unlock the full potential of the software-defined vehicle throughout its complete lifecycle. Aptiv's Smart Vehicle Architecture, or SVA for short, is described as an optimized set of technologies that provide a foundation for the modern software-defined vehicle. This includes the hardware and software architectures as well as the ability to utilize cloud-based tools for developing, deploying, and operating these vehicles throughout their lifecycle. SVA has 3 key principles. It separates I/O from compute, it extracts software from hardware, and it serverizes compute. The software running on open server platforms containerizes applications into modules that can be quickly updated. There is a video on the Aptiv website that details the story of SVA. Now that video helps viewers imagine what these containers look like through a graphic illustration of blue and green boxes. ADAS has its containers while UX has its containers. The foundation of this graphic representation of the ADAS and UX containers is a long rectangular box labeled Mixed Criticality Hypervisor. Wind River describes a hypervisor as software that uses virtualization technology to create, run, and manage virtual machines. Also known as a virtual machine monitor, a hypervisor keeps its operating system and resources isolated from the virtual machines it manages. Quoting Wind River again, a key benefit of a hypervisor is that it allows developers to run multiple operating systems simultaneously on one hardware system. But without this capability, only one operating system could run on a computer hardware system. That's the backstory on Aptiv and Wind River. As for the backstory on Javed, that is where we begin. Given his career history, why automotive, why Aptiv, and why now?
Moving at the speed of mobility, this is Autovision News Radio with Carl Anthony in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. Actually, I get asked that question all the time. I spent most of my career in technology, initially building security software for enterprise and consumers. Later on, building enterprise products, specifically collaboration products. So things that you use to communicate, video conferencing, both software and hardware at scale. And having done that, I realized that there was a massive transformation happening in physical industries, such as the automobile space, where cars were becoming computers, software and hardware, delivering amazing experiences for consumers. And there was a need to do this at scale, safely and securely. So I thought that was a challenge that I couldn't pass up on when Aptiv came calling. I had some unique technology skills that I think I could apply here. And I love working with products that actually touch consumers. And this was a fantastic opportunity to do that.
Javed, we're here at your office at the Aptiv campus.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, of course, here in Troy. Take us through your day-to-day. Tell us about your role each day and the work you do here at Aptiv.
So I'm the Executive Vice President at Aptiv for what we call as the Software, Advanced Safety, and User Experience Business Unit. So that's a multi-billion-dollar business unit. So a big part of my job is making sure that we are running a business that is profitable and growing. So I do spend a lot of time running the business. So that means making sure we are talking to customers where there are prospective pursuits, making sure we are selling them our technology, showing off what we are building and where the future is headed. So a big part of my job is selling. The other thing that we do here at Aptiv is we actually build the full stack end to end. So we build the cameras and the radars and put the entire system together, not just the hardware, but also the software, and then certify it end to end. So we have plants globally, so keeping an eye on those. And I have a team that's also continuously focused on the next generation of products, so continuously innovating. So a big part of my job is also making sure that we are thinking about what's coming, designing those products, investing in those products. So a lot of diverse activities, but that's what makes my job so exciting.
From your prior experience, so just going back to your bio for a second, you have a background leading complex software and hardware systems across various industries. So how has that helped you here at Aptiv?
Yeah, so as I said, I spent a lot of time building software and hardware products in my prior jobs at scale. And a big part of that was thinking ahead about where the industry, that particular industry is headed, where those products are headed, and designing products that customers are going to need. And I think a very similar thing is happening in the automobile industry. There is the transformation of software-defined vehicles. There is customers' needs are changing. Given my understanding of technology and software, I'm able to apply that to this particular space and build products both in the user experience domain and the ADAS domain for our customers.
Javed, you said software-defined vehicle, which is the term at the top of our automotive lexicons today. How does Aptiv see the software-defined vehicle?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think a lot of people have slightly different understanding of what it means. For Aptiv and for me, it is three things, three primary things. So one is separating software from hardware. And I think that is very important first step because we've always had software in a car for a long, long time, but it was always tightly coupled to the hardware. So separating software and hardware. Now, the reason you want to do that is for the second benefit, which is you want to be able to update the software independently of the hardware. So this requires that the software-defined vehicle be connected to a backend so that it can be updated continuously or updated as needed. And that's only going to come about if you separate software and hardware, if you do the first thing. And the third thing, which is very important to not just software-defined vehicles, but the concept of software, is the ability to collect data and continuously make your experience better. And this is something I learned in my previous roles, which is the essence of software-defined vehicles and architectures is the ability to collect data, learn from it, and continuously make the system better in real time or as quickly as possible, and not waiting 3 years for the next car model to come out. It's those three things: separation of software and hardware, the ability to update the software, and then the ability to collect data and continuously learn from that and push out updates.
During our fireside chat at AutoSense and In-Cabin, downtown Detroit at the Huntington Place in June of 2025, I had the pleasure of moderating a fireside chat with you, Javed, and you introduced the audience to a concept called AI at the intelligent edge.
Yeah.
Can we revisit that? What is meant by AI at the intelligent edge? And then further to that, how is Aptiv leveraging AI at the intelligent edge to enable software-defined vehicles that go beyond what we would maybe consider our traditional capabilities?
That is one of the fundamental technology transformations that has enabled the software-defined vehicle. We call it software at the intelligent edge. And what it really means is the ability to do fairly expensive, computationally expensive activities at the edge. The edge in this case is the car. In the past, that powerful compute that you needed was actually not possible inside a car. It had to be in a big data center, which means the car had to wait for a response to come back. So certain things like autonomous driving or other experiences were just not possible. You cannot wait a few seconds for the car to decide whether it's supposed to turn left or right. So modern developments are now allowing us to run many of those workloads inside the car because you now have this powerful compute inside the car. And that's what we call intelligence at the edge. You're now able to run a lot of decision making inside the car. This was not possible before. Now it's enabling a whole set of new experiences. The biggest area that we see every day today is autonomous driving. All the way from simple decisions around emergency braking to L2++ and L3 ADAS solutions, all made possible because we are now able to run a lot of this intelligence at the edge. I think you're also seeing that when it comes to your in-cabin experiences, which are becoming more and more digital. It's now possible because a lot of that powerful compute that you need to run these fancy screens or multiple screens is now available at the edge. So it's a fascinating new trend that applies not just to automobiles, but it also applies to a lot of other verticals that Aptiv is investing in.
What is the advantage for everyday car buyers of these, say, ADAS systems that are operating at the edge? What's the advantage? And maybe we can use me as an example. It took me about 40 minutes to drive here to your office here in Troy, Michigan. So what's the advantage for people like me who are driving to meetings? What's the advantage for everyday car buyers out there?
Yeah. So I think the primary advantage that we should all expect to see, we're already seeing, is safety. Whether the car is assisting you while you're driving or is driving for you, technology is allowing us to deliver safer experiences. Second, a better experience. Mapping technology with maps and the radars and the cameras, you're now able to navigate traffic faster from point A to point B without having to manually look through a map. So that's the other aspect, other benefit that customers are getting. And I think over time, you'll also start to see personalization. The experience is going to be personalized for you because the car knows where your home is and where you normally go for your office. So experience benefits and personalized experience benefits to our customers.
Connected intelligence for automotive and adjacent industries too. We know that this brings immense opportunities, as we've been discussing, but there's also complex challenges that come with it around scalability and security in these safety critical systems. Yeah. So Javed, how does Aptiv see this challenge? How is Aptiv leveraging full stack expertise, including Wind River here? Wind River is important. So including Wind River to overcome these hurdles in automotive and maybe in the broader connected ecosystem?
Yeah, that is a very, very important criteria for any software-defined vehicle ADAS system, making sure it's safe and secure because people's lives depends on it. So one of the things we spend a lot of time on is making sure our solutions are modular. So why is that important? Because when you build modular systems which you then integrate, they are easier to test and validate, not just individually, but also the end-to-end system, because safety is paramount when you're building some of these systems. Wind River plays an important role because Wind River, for those of you who might not know, is the operating system that runs on top of the hardware. Wind River is a hardened operating system. It's specially designed for safety critical systems. It's certified for it. So that ensures that the underlying operating system by itself has gone through special certifications, special tests. In addition, Wind River has a capability that engineers would call virtualization. So what that allows you to do is run different applications in their own little ecosystem. That way, there is an interference between the ADAS application and the user experience application, which means you can certify each application separately. So Wind River plays an important role in isolating these different applications, which in turn ensures that each of them is more secure.
We're talking a lot about the technical innovation. Shifting now to the leadership and the culture piece. Javed, how do you cultivate an environment here at Aptiv that is one of continuous learning, of adaptation? And then how do you motivate your teams and inspire your teams to navigate what is a rapidly shifting landscape right now in automotive? How do you do that and then still deliver these cutting-edge, next-generation vehicle solutions?
Yeah, so it is a continuous learning mindset that's needed to navigate this transformation. There's two kinds of transformations happening. One is the technology itself is changing so fast, right? So we encourage our engineers, our leaders to make sure that they are staying abreast of the latest and greatest technology, especially when it comes to things like AI. The world's changing so fast. There's newer and newer ways and cheaper ways of solving that problem that's emerging. So that's on the engineering front. That's on the learning front internally. But the second and most important thing is staying close to our customers, because the technology, it has a lot of promise, but ultimately it has to deliver a safer, better experience for our customers. And our customers are both the OEMs who are navigating this transition themselves from a process standpoint, from a cost standpoint, but also the end customers. So staying close to our customers so that we can learn from their experiences so that we can build a better system. It is both those things, making sure you're staying on top of the technology, then learning continuously from our customers so that ultimately we can translate that into benefits.
Javed, thank you for having me at your office today. Beautiful facility, beautiful campus here in Troy, Michigan. One last question. What do you enjoy most about your work at Aptiv, my friend?
I think that at Aptiv, I started off mentioning this. I'm now having the opportunity to apply 20 plus years of my experience building software, building technology to, in some ways, the real world, right, which is a car. So being able to apply that and experience that across so many different OEMs is just fascinating. And that's what I think drives a lot of my colleagues here at Aptiv, because you're making a difference in people's everyday lives.
See the links in the show notes to learn more about Aptiv's smart vehicle architecture, Wind River, and software-defined vehicles as a whole. There is also a link to an article Javed wrote for the Forbes Technology Council called Living on the Edge, where physical and digital worlds intertwine. AutoVision News Radio is available on all major podcast platforms. at Aptiv's Troy Technical Center alongside Javed Khan. I'm Carl Anthony, AutoVision News Radio.